The allure of cynicism. Alright, so in this video, I'm going to try to... It's a very, very complicated topic, but it's something that I'll try to present as quickly as I can. In this video, I want to talk about black voters, minority voters. And why is it that Bernie Sanders just can't seem to break through to these group of people? That's a very, very, very common talking point that you hear in the media. And I just wanted to take a second to give my take on what's causing this and how we overcome this barrier. So first, I'd like to start by us trying to understand who are black voters, because this is a question that nobody has ever, that I never ever hear anybody talk about in the media. So understand something. Black people are not just some monolithic group of people that all think and act alike and do everything alike, and they're not all in the same socioeconomic levels. Black people, and here's a shocker, are exactly like white people. Believe it or not. We're all alike. I know. Breaking news. 3-star exclusive. So, the reason why I present this point is that by trying to focus on quote-unquote black issues, what you're actually doing is being counterproductive, and you're going to alienate these people by doing that. Now, before I get into all that, let me explain who the black voters are. So, black people for years as a group have been targeted by a campaign of voter suppression, lies, false promises, etc. And what that has bred is a group of people who are very, very, very politically cynical and skeptical of the system and of politicians in general. This isn't something that happened by accident. This is something that was deliberate, that was created, that was engineered to be this way. And it's happened as a response to the growing threat that the civil rights movement had presented. The threat of equality. And that's something that the establishment just could not allow to happen. So what you had in response to that was politicians on both the Democratic and Republican sides who exploited black voters or exploited white fears against black people to pass policies that really, really alienated this group of people and destroyed their ability to mobilize as a political force, to keep the establishment safe, to keep the status quo. What that has created is a group of people who are they don't believe that their voice matters. They don't believe that voting matters. If it's a Republican or a Democratic president, you're going to get the same policies. So why even try? It's also, so those, I would say, are the vast majority of black people in our society. Then out of that group, you have a very, very small percentage of people who actually participate in the political system. These people are, I think, divided up into three groups of people. You have the extreme minority who get the most media attention. And these are the people who don't believe that it's possible to work within the system. So their solution to get their political message is to blow the system up. These are the people who you see will go on Twitter and will make American KKK posts, talk about pushing for repatriation back to Africa, pushing for reparations, will deface the American flag, etc. These people are the people who get the most attention from the media, and it's done so deliberately to paint the rest of black people as these just political extremists that you can't do anything for. The next group of people are people who aren't extreme, who are very politically active. And this group is even further subdivided. You have people who tend to be older, tend to be richer, tend to be more established, who tend to go with the political establishment or with toe the party line, go with the conventional wisdom. These are people who like watching CNN, MSNBC, etc. They believe very, very, very deeply in the two-party paradigm, that the problems are Republican versus Democrat. The Republicans are evil and batshit crazy. The Democrats are the good guys. Yeah, we might have some of them that might not be all that good, but at the end of the day, they're way better than the Republicans. These people right here are the people who vote for Hillary. It's really hard to break through this group of people. A lot of them tend to be much older and very, very, very set in their ways. And you, as an individual, your voice is not going to be as powerful to appeal to them as the media will. The only way that we get those group of people is by winning states and proving viability. This is a problem that Barack Obama had to break down in order to get the black vote on his side. And what was very influential in helping to doing that was the fact that Obama had allies like Oprah Winfrey, who used her cult following and her media platform to counteract the bullshit that was being spread in the mainstream media against Obama and get his message out there. We have very few of those allies on Bernie's side this time. The third group of people from the small portion of the black electorate are who make up your typical Bernie Sanders supporters. So who are these people? These people are people who are very politically active, who believe that they can change the system, but they feel as if, and they feel rightly because it's true, that Republicans and Democrats are motivated by the same factor, greed. So these people understand that in order to get real change, you have to vote for somebody outside of the system. They're more likely to take a risk and to try a new person. These people are largely young people because they're not old enough to become, cynical or just programmed to think this way. And they haven't given up hope on society and on people in general. Those are your typical Bernie Sanders supporters. So now the big question is, how do we appeal to these people? And how do we get more minorities into the group? Well, you're not going to win by trying to talk to people who are very, very, very set in their ways. Imagine this. How would you appeal to a Trump supporter? Chances are there is no way you're going to be able to do that. But what you can do is you can get the numbers in your favor by getting more people involved. So rather than target your very, very, very politically active black people, I'm not saying to abandon them completely. What we should be doing is focusing on bringing new black voters into the political movement. It's a lot easier to learn something new than to unlearn something and learn something new. These people should be our targets. The people who, they're very young, they aren't very politically engaged. Those people are who we should be going after and who we should be trying to pitch to. And those people are the people you'll have the most success with. And the good news is, those people make up the vast majority of black people in our society. There's also another element that cannot be understated, and it's the spin of how the media is reporting this story, specifically to target Bernie Sanders supporters. What we're witnessing here is not just a classic, just hardcore look at the facts and the numbers, etc. But we're being exposed to a campaign of white supremacy. They're subtly trying to plant the seed that those black people, they're too stupid to vote for their own interests. Not like you good, smart white people. That's what the media is trying to push. Don't fall victim to this. Fight back. What they'll not tell you, and what they'll never tell you, is the actual truth about the situation. Yes, Hillary Clinton won overwhelmingly in Louisiana, Alabama, and all these, Mississippi, and all these very, very large black-dominated states. What they won't tell you is the actual voter turnout numbers in those states. It was pathetic. You had some precincts that Hillary won where only 100 people showed up to vote. Contrast that to, places like Michigan, Detroit, etc. that had, thousands of people show up in some precincts. So anyway, that's my video. It's ran a lot longer than I thought it would. Sorry for ranting and going off a little bit. I'm a bit tired. Anyway, hope you enjoyed.